Hey, welcome to Sports Unfolded Just for Kicks. I am your host, Eric B. Bryan, what up, my man? How are you?
Eric, nice to see you back. Nice to be here again with you guys, sharing a little bit of football, or
Yes,
whatever you want to call it. It's
right.
always good. There's always news going on, and we're here to talk about it.
Yeah, a lot going on in the soccer world, football, internationally. Again, I know you follow it more than anybody else, so we're going to let you get into some of it. And you wanted to talk a little bit about the Europa League and what's going on there.
Yes, well, to every soccer fan, now it's a very interesting time because you got the semifinals for the European tournaments, as like you mentioned, Europa League and Champions League. So yeah. I don't know if you want me to start to talk about a specific game, but yes, we would like to touch about Europa League a little bit.
Yeah, so maybe you fill some blanks in. Who's in right now? Was there any upsets? Anything that maybe people should have or were surprised by?
So yeah, there was a kind of upset, especially for the British people who support Liverpool. We thought that they were gonna make it since they are one of the best team in the last I would say 8 years, right? But unfortunately, they lost in the quarterfinals, so they couldn't make it. But the 14th are others: Bayer Leverkusen, Roma, Atalanta from Italy, and Marseille from France. If you want me to talk on a specific game, I can start talking about Bayer Leverkusen versus AC Roma, which is a very interesting game.
Have at it, my friend.
Well, it's a. I would like to start with this game specifically because I would like to talk about a little bit about Bayer Leverkusen. I don't know if you read or hear about Bayer Leverkusen's coach, which is Coach Xavi Alonso. He used to be a player before he retired like 4 or 5 years ago, or three, I think 3 years ago. And usually the coaches when they retire, they either go with their families, go away, or they start a new career. But this guy, while he retired, he went to school for trying to be a coach, and indeed he became a coach, and he went to this team called Bayer Leverkusen, which is a team that is not very. I mean, it's not very that strong when it comes to winning trophies and everything. And Leverkusen, since Xavi Alonso got there, they haven't lost a single match in this season. So right now they are unbeaten. Nobody has beaten them yet. And for the first time in their history, Bayer Leverkusen just won their domestic league, which is called Bundesliga, right? In this guy very first season, they just won that domestic league, which is 34 games. It's not easy because you gotta
Yeah,
keep constantly winning and winning. And at the same time, usually Germany has two domestic tournaments. He not only win the Bundesliga, but also he is in the final of the other domestic tournament, which is called the Pokal. So, and this guy right now is fighting to be in the final for Europa League. So, in his very first years, he's looking forward to win three trophies in one season, which is spectacular.
no. Yeah, and you don't normally see that when you see a player go to coach. Sometimes it doesn't translate as well, just because they expect everybody to play like they did or do things like they did when they played. So, wow, that's amazing.
It's amazing. And right now, the first leg of this match, they ended 0-2 in favor of Bayer Leverkusen, of course. And I would just mention some key players that, again, they are very unpopular because usually when you sign a coach, you're expecting the coach to hire big names, big stars. But what this coach Xavi Alonso from Bayer Leverkusen did, he kind of start building the players that were already there, bro. Or sometimes you look in the academies that the team have, you look to the young players, and you look players there. And this is what this guy did. For example, this guy named Shaka. Like usually, it's like a year ago, I wouldn't even know who this guy is, right? But now I know he's a midfielder and he plays amazing. He plays amazing, you know. And nobody knew who this guy was until Xavi Alonso started putting him on the lineups. And every game that Bayer Leverkusen will play, it's kind of hard me to pronounce because again, these guys are Germans, and I don't know German that much. But I got Saka, I got Wirtz. You know, these guys are usually midfield and forward. You know, and in the first game between Bayer Leverkusen and AS Roma, I saw Bayer Leverkusen that usually the way they play, usually they keep the ball most of the time, just like Pep Guardiola for Man City. This type of guy that he likes to have possession of the ball. He likes to, be aggressive when he has the ball. So I think Bayer Leverkusen, since they're playing home the next game, I think they're gonna stick to that form of playing. They're not gonna give away the ball. They're gonna keep having the ball and creating opportunities, creating chances to attack AC Roma. And AC Roma, they have good players. They got Leandro Paredes, they got Dybala, they got Lukaku. But AC Roma, they miss too many chances. Usually they don't have the ball that often on the game. And they're not having the best season because they are fifth right now in their league. And they barely, I would say, they reached into the semifinal. I would say luck. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, usually luck is kind of you don't want to, you kind of want to give credit to the players. But I mean, they were in the final last year, but they lost it. So if anybody would tell me that AC Roma will go to the final, yes, I will believe it just because they already have experience on competing in these type of games. But because Bayer Leverkusen, the way they are unbeaten right now, unbeaten, they play really great.
Yeah.
They coordinate very well. They know what they want. You can see it when you see them on the pitch. I would put Bayer Leverkusen as the first finalist of this tournament.
So, any other matches that they should? So you say semifinal, so there's another matchup.
Well, if Bayer Leverkusen wins this match, they're gonna go on the final. They're gonna be the first team on the final.
Okay. So Europa League, you were explaining it to me earlier. The fifth, sixth place teams in Europe basically are are,
Usually,
are those teams there.
yeah.
So, anything else fans should be looking for in the Europa League before we move on to the Champions League?
I don't know if you want to talk about the other semifinal in the Europa League first,
Yes,
moving
yes,
to the
please.
Champions League. But before going to the Europa League is very important because the winner of the Europa League goes automatically to the Champions League. So even though you might end up 10th place in your league, but if you win the Europa League, you go automatically to
We lost Brian.
you
There he
go
is.
and compete with the greatest teams in Europe.
Oh, lost him again. All right, there you
I
are.
don't know I don't know if you heard me.
No, go ahead. Lost Brian for a second. This is Just for Kicks, Sports Unfolded. Talking some football, Europa League. Brian's kind of going through. There he is. He's
Yeah,
back. All right, Brian. What were you saying?
I was saying that it doesn't matter if you end up like 10th place in your league, if you win the Europa League, or if for some reason you like the season before that you were great and you went to the Champions League and you win the Champions League, you go to the Champions League and you go and compete with the greatest team in Europe. So that's why this tournament it's important because teams look forward to, yeah, probably they didn't do well in their domestic leagues, but hey, you have a chance to do well in Europa League and you might win it, and next season you go play with the greatest teams in Europe.
Really cool. So, what was the second matchup that you were saying?
So yes, I was Atalanta and Marseille. Again, Italy. I mean, last season, I don't know if you remember. I feel like it was yesterday. We just had this show last season talking about the same thing. I mean, again, and we'll talk about how the Italians team were, they were on fire, and not so much in Champions League this year, but they do have two teams in Europa League. Atalanta is an Italian team, and they're playing Marseille, a French team. This game is a very rigid game, I would say. I mean, the first leg ended up in a draw, 1-1. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't watch the game. Usually, I couldn't watch the game, but I did look in the highlights. I did look at the statistics. Uh, it was a very even game. Like I say, it was a draw. You know, uh, this game will be that type of game where the one who take advantage of the chances that they have, it's gonna go in the final. I would like to mention that Marseille, the Marseille team, the French team, they do have some good players. They got this guy called Aubameyang. He got 4 goals in 27 games. I mean, he doesn't seem that much, but for a decent team, a mid team that is not that great, I mean, that player did kind of pretty good. And I think Atalanta is playing home. They should take advantage of that. They should
Uh-huh.
take advantage of their local, of their home of this
Yeah.
game, and they should, like I say, they shouldn't waste any time but score. In Marseille, since they're gonna be the visitors, I think they should again do not miss that many chances. But at the same time, they have the defense. They should have it like very decent because for some reason I don't know if that happens in other sports, but when you home in football, especially soccer, when you home, usually that support that you have from the crew from your
Your
fans,
crowd. Yeah.
it kind of gets into you and you start playing pretty well.
Yeah. Manny already made a prediction here. Is it Marcel versus Leverkusen?
I don't agree with that. I
No.
don't think he's right. I personally don't. I think Atalanta has a very. I mean, Atalanta they've been competing in these type of tournaments lately very often. They got experience, so I think to me personally, it's going to be Leverkusen and Atalanta, the final
Okay. All right. So that's your prediction.
for Europa League. Yes, I do
Okay.
think it's going to be a Italian team versus a German team.
All right. All right. So that's the Europa League. Let's talk a little bit about the Champions League. What can you tell us about the Champions League?
Well, I do can tell this is like the main plate, for everybody who likes soccer. When it comes to this time, everybody's looking to Champions League, and I got the first game PSG versus Borussia Dortmund. You know, uh, as much as I can say, I really don't like PSG because I really don't. As a team, I just don't like PSG. I
Hmm.
think they it's not my team, but they do have a great squad this year. They do have a great coach this year, and I would like to mention some key players. They have Lucas Hernandez, which is a defender, pretty good defender actually. He also plays for the French national team. They got Mbappe. I'm sure
Hmm.
I
Yep.
don't have to introduce
Yep.
who Mbappe is. He's a beast. They got Dembele too. Obviously, they play for the national French team, and they got this guy who is not that famous, but if you start looking at the game very closely, you're gonna notice him. His name is Vitinha. Again, uh, all of them are French, and I would just like to mention some numbers for Mbappe this season. He got 34 goals in 39 games overall. So is that like a good fair numbers? I would say yes. I'm pretty sure if he moves to Madrid, their numbers are gonna grow. But PSG has a very good squad,
Yeah.
and
So Manny chimed in here. PSG's a great team, big names. They don't know how to play. And put all the talent together to go far.
you know, it did happen when Messi went there and Neymar went there. But this year is different because the coach is a different one too. It wasn't the same coach that was coaching Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe. It's a different one now. And I think this coach has uh, bring this coach brought this thing what it's called when when they unify the team.
Yeah.
Everybody's together, everybody's not looking for individuals but one, which is the team. For this game, obviously PSG first. They don't the first leg actually, and I would like to mention that I didn't mention that was by my body, my end. PSG lost the first leg. Obviously, they play in Germany in
Yeah.
Dortmund, and they did lose 1-0. And obviously, it was every surprise. Oh my God, PSG lost. But I just would like to remember those that think that PSG just because they lost 1-0, they're out in the quarterfinal with Barcelona, they lost two in the first leg, and they play home. and at the eighth they ended up overturning the score. So they dominated the game. Obviously, Borussia played. Borussia just gave PSG the ball, but Borussia Dortmund did have something that was very productive and was even though they won 1-0, but the chance that they have, they didn't waste it. That's the thing with PSG though. That's what Manny's talking about too. Big names, big star, big money. But when it comes to big games, PSG they chuck because they don't know how to finish the good chances that they have. You know, that is a negative point for PSG on this game, I think, because Borussia Dortmund is that team that they don't need that many chances to score a goal. You know, they have Sancho there. That's a key player for Borussia Dortmund. They got Hummels. They got uh, Brandt, I think. And those guys, yes, they probably know that they don't have they don't have the numbers that Mbappe has, but those guys are effective. And that's something that it matters in this sport. You gotta be effective when you got the ball. You gotta be effective when you have a chance. You have to be effective, otherwise, you are just gonna miss the chances and you're gonna be out every single tournament. And that is what's going on with the PSG. They got good players, they got good signing, good coaches, but for some reason, when they have chances, they don't know how to handle it.
Yeah, sometimes, and we've seen this in the NBA. They kind of get these super teams together, and they try to get three superstars, and it doesn't seem to work. So I think to your point, it's sometimes better to have one main star and then other guys that feed off of that.
If you ask me, in my opinion, what Dortmund has to do in order to advance is, I know it's gonna sound weird, but to me, just defend the aggregate, which means you already won 1-0 at home, right? You got that score in your favor.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna go to France. You're gonna play in the PSG stadium. There's there's nothing much you can do. You're gonna be playing against the fans. You're gonna be playing against the weather, whatever it could be. In my opinion, is I know it's gonna sound weird, and I know I don't like this type of playing, but just defend. Try to defend that 1-0 that
Yeah.
you had at home. But yeah, don't put all the 11 players in the back, but at least have 6 defenders in that game. That's just me personally. If I'm a Dortmund coach, if I'm a Dortmund coach, I would just put five defenders, probably 3 midfield, and just why not just play with one forward?
Yeah.
You know, that would be just me. And for PSG, to be honest, if I was the coach of PSG, again, effectiveness, of course, but at the same time, I would just attack since the first minute. I would just attack, 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 attack. Be consistent, be consistent, be consistent. At the end of the day, if you keep consistent, something is gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just my opinion. Again.
Yeah. Manny said the same thing. Iran did it in the World Cup. They made it out of the group stages because they had 9 players in the back. And once they got the ball, they started the attack. So again, makes sense, right? Defend first, try to avoid getting scored on.
That for me, that's for Borussia Dortmund. You don't
Yeah.
have that many talent that PSG have. They don't have that many names. So just why not just defend? Might as well just try to make history, go to the final. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah,
You know
my
what I'm saying?
producer wants to. It's like Sports Unfolded. Ron's the main star, and Eric feeds off like a role player. Absolutely. Let's see him do it on his own next Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See how much of a main star he is. All right. So that's PSG. What's the next big matchup in the Champions League?
So that the big I obviously went into this match when I went to look for the statistics and everything because this is the big play for everybody, which is Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. Which, by the way, I would like to say congratulations to Real Madrid because they just win their 36th domestic title in La Liga, right? They just crowned a champion today. So big team, man. Always, the Real Madrid is gonna be always a big team, and do not let anybody tell you something different. Real Madrid is the king of this sport. I'm gonna tell you that, and I don't support Real Madrid, but that's how it is. I know it hurts me, but
You may
that's
get
how
some
it is.
haters out there, Brian. There
But
might be
that's
some
how
people coming at you now.
That's how it is. So Real Madrid versus Bayern Munich is the other one. That's the big play. That's the all the eyes are in this game. Two big giants. Bayern Munich is the giant of Germany. Real Madrid, not only the giant of Spain, but also the giant of this sport, in my opinion. Right? I would like to start mentioning some key players for Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. For Real Madrid, they got Vinicius. Everybody knows who he is. Vinicius, they got Rudiger, which everybody could say, why you put Rudiger? Because he's a defender. And on these type of matches, you gotta have good defense because the other team has good forwards.
Yeah.
And if you don't put good defenders, you're gonna be screwed. So I put Rudiger there, which is a defender. I had Rodrigo.
Lost Brian again. Manny.
I have Rodrigo here.
Oh, there he goes.
In the list.
You're good, B. Go ahead. Oh, he went that. So Manny, yeah, Manny's biased. We already know Real Madrid's Manny's team. He's biased. He said so.
So I got like I say, I have Vinicius, I have Rudiger, I have Rodrigo here. And
we are having some technical difficulties. Again, this is Sports Unfolded just for kicks, talking about the Europa League and the Champions League. Brian having a little bit of technical difficulties. He's going through and discussing all of the matchups, which, again, we know the soccer world, football world is excited about. So hopefully we get him back soon. Manny chiming in. Bellingham's going to be key to this match, and the goalkeeper. Brian's coming live from the hotels of Madrid. So, they're not good service there.
I'm here now.
All right.
I promise I'll stay here now. No, so my bad. Like I was saying, I got Vinicius, I got Rudiger, I got Rodrigo, and of course, I need to have my guy Jude Bellingham as a key
you
player.
Love this guy.
As a key player for this game. I need to have him, and he's just amazing. He's just amazing. He amazed me. Like Jude Bellingham is my guy, and I put Valverde and Kroos there too. I would just like to put some numbers out there for Vinicius. He's doing pretty good this season overall. He got 20 goals in 35 games, which, I mean, yes, maybe it's gonna say, it's not that many numbers, but you gotta remember, you are surrounded a lot of stuff, so everyone is competing each other. So when you have those numbers that high, that means something. That you one of the first one on that team that is surrounded of stars. So Vinicius is a very key player. He could do a lot of damage to Bayern Munich in this game, and just because I like my guy Bellingham, I brought some numbers for him too, and he got 20. He got one more goal than Vinicius, and he's not a forward. He got 22 goals in 35 games. You got to give it to him, man. He's a midfielder. He's supposed to create, not to score, but he's scoring too. That's why I like this guy. Both are having great seasons, especially Bellingham, his first season in Madrid. Usually when you see players that they have a big change, it's kind of hard to adapt. But Bellingham, man, he didn't have time to adapt. He already adapted in the first match, and he starts scoring goals and making assists and everything. But nonetheless, I mean, Bayern Munich, they already have some good weapons too. They got Neuer. They got a good goalie. That's a plus too. Neuer is one of the best goalies of this sport, especially in soccer. They got Leroy Sané, another guy. He's very good. He's very fast,
Yeah, so Manny's mentioning that big impact because Real Madrid's playing at home. So, again, the advantage possibly goes to Real Madrid in this matchup just based on the fact that they're playing at home. Very good home team. So, that's a great point by Manny.
They got Leroy Sané, like I was saying. Leroy Sané, it's a pretty guy. It's a fast guy. Thomas Müller. Yes, Thomas Müller, he doesn't have 25 years old anymore. He's like 34. But as a veteran, you also help your team by supporting the new guys, telling the new guy how it is. Thomas Müller been in these type of games before. So as a Bayern Munich midfield veteran, he could afford like some good points to the team. They got Musiala, and they got they got this guy who many doesn't like him for some reason, but I think this guy is a great guy, which is Harry Kane. You know, Harry Kane has 43 goals in 43 games.
Wow.
1 goal per match, pretty much, you could say. So yes, many doesn't like him for some reason. He think he's useless, or not useless, but many think he's overrated. But this guy has shown he went from Tottenham to Bayern Munich again, just like Jude Bellingham. He didn't have time to adapt. He just went there and started scoring goals. And obviously, the first game, Bayern they played home. They dominated. You know, they had the ball. They also created more chances. They had 5 shots. Madrid had only 4. And obviously, you're home. You're playing with your fans. You know, and uh, Bayern they play some weird position the first game. They play 4 defenders, 4-2-3-1. So they kind of Bayern Munich usually they only play with 1 forward, right? They play kind of like with 6 defenders, 3 midfielders, and 1 forward. That's how they play it. You know, that's how they play the first match, and I agree with them because when you have to face a giant team like Real Madrid, right? You got to make sure your defenders. Yeah, that's my man right there, Jude Bellingham. You got to make sure that you know how to defend. You don't want concede goals. So I agree. I kind of agree with that position. But if I was Bayern for the second leg, I would just put 1 more forward because
All
they're
right.
gonna need it.
So Manny's definitely. So when you mentioned Kane, it really set him off. He's overrated. He's cursed. He's never won a championship in his life.
He
And when he
hasn't.
moved to Bayern, they didn't win the German Cup either. So he's definitely, yeah, he's not a fan. So he's making that pretty obvious.
Well, the thing with Kane is he never won a trophy in Tottenham, right? He did never win a trophy over there. So they told him, hey, if you go to Bayern Munich, you might win something. They went to the Bayern Munich. He went to the Bayern Munich team. Guess who won the Bundesliga? Bayer Leverkusen. So for some reason, they
He's
say he's cursed.
he's cursed.
Yeah, and but like I was saying, if they want to go to the final, if I was the coach of Bayern Munich right now, which obviously I'm not, but if I was the coach, I would just give Harry Kane a hand. Just put another forward. Don't just play with 1 forward, especially because Madrid is playing home, and they're gonna be all over. You know, playing with their people.
Yeah.
Madrid is pretty good competing this type of game. I mean, they are the king of this tournament. They got 14 cups. They have the team that the most cups have when it comes to Champions League. And last year we were talking about how they were going to be Man City, and it didn't happen, but it did happen this year. They did eliminate Man City this year, and again, if I was a Bayern Munich coach or a Bayern Munich fan, I would just play 4 defenders, 4 midfielders, and 2 forwards, because you want to have that midfield very solid. You want to have that defense very solid because you got Jude Bellingham, man. You got Tony Kroos. You got Modric. Those guys don't play. They don't play around. They play the real game, and they won't forgive any chance that they have. I tell you that.
Yeah. Now, anytime you mention your boy now, Jude Bellingham, he's gonna put on the screen. You gotta love it. You gotta love the producer. You gotta love the producer. Any other games in the Champions League that we should be looking at?
So pretty much this is it. This is the semifinal. I mean, just a fun fact before we keep going. Madrid, they only have lost 1 game in this season.
Wow.
Only one in the entire season. That tell you a lot how Real Madrid is right now. You know, and they got, like I said, they got very good players, man. I tell you right now, I'm just gonna give a little prediction in the next. I would say in the next 10 years, the only team that I see dominating Europe, I think, is Real Madrid. They got a very good squad. And if Mbappe goes there, man, that's gonna be nobody's gonna be able to stop them. That's just my prediction. And I think Real Madrid is gonna go to the final. If you ask me, yes, I think they're going to. Real Madrid and PSG. That's just my prediction for the Champions League final. And it's gonna be funny. You know why? Because obviously Madrid wants to sign PSG, right? So it's gonna be
Mhm.
funny seeing Mbappe. I mean, Real Madrid wants to sign
See,
Mbappe. I'm sorry,
see him
right?
playing for PSG,
And
and
it's gonna be very funny if PSG and Madrid face in the final, seeing Mbappe. You know, if for some reason happen, PSG win the Champions League and Mbappe is the MVP of the match, it's gonna be very, very, very. It's gonna be very interesting seeing if they still want to sign him.
yeah, no, it's again, you're the soccer guy. I'm the basketball, football guy. And I will say this: Kevin Durant once lost to the Golden State Warriors, and then the next year goes to Golden State and wins a championship. So, like, it's possible that, again, they may want to pluck him just so that PSG isn't as strong and they're not concerned with him again in the future.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's gonna be. I mean, nothing. Obviously, they have to play the second leg first. But I think PSG is gonna go to the final, no problem. They got a very good squad. They playing home. You know, that it's only one now. It's not like they lost like five now.
Yeah.
They only lost one now. And I think they're going to Madrid. I mean, the first leg they draw 2-2, but you're playing in the Madrid stage. You're playing in Spain. That's what Madrid usually finish the work. So there's no, in my again, my anything could happen, but just my opinion, I think Madrid and PSG are going to be the finalists of this tournament.
Okay. All right. Brian, thank you for covering that. I just wanted to ask a quick question before we finish up. MLS, we talked about the Messi coming over, Inter Miami Football Club. Do you feel like it's helped the Major League Soccer? Because I really haven't seen it other than with Miami. You see Miami and everybody's interested in Miami, but throughout the sport, do you feel like it's increased it here in America?
I'm gonna be honest to you, and I think we talked about this before when I used to see you every day. I think that's just marketing. I think it do helps Messi's brand and helps MLS brand and Inter Miami brand. When it comes to actually like the game, no, not so much. Not so
Yeah.
much. I mean, yeah, everybody's looking at MLS, but I'm gonna be honest. Who is looking at Charlotte and Red Bull, New York Red Bull? Who's watching at those type of games? Pretty much nobody. Everybody's just watching Inter Miami because
Yeah.
Messi is there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yes, it might bring some fans, but yeah, those fans are going to Miami. They're not coming to New England Revolution.
Yeah.
They're not going to LA Galaxy. You know what I'm saying? They're just going to Miami. But I mean, if they really want to make again this league to be more famous and everything, they should sign big players, not to only one team, because
Yeah.
all what they're doing is just putting a bunch of stars in one single team. That's just gonna create fans just for that single team.
Yeah.
At all. That's all. You know what I'm saying? They gotta spread that. Which I also heard that a lot of players are gonna retire soon. They're gonna come to MLS, like Modric. I heard about that too. Maybe Cross. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Which I mean, it's good because you got eyes in the MLS, but at the same time, put it in different teams. Don't just throw it in one single team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Makes sense. So this is Just for Kicks, Sports Unfolded, soccer coverage, football internationally. My man Brian talking a lot about Europa League and the Champions League today. Let us know what you think, who's going to win, what's going to happen. Like, share, and follow our show. We've had our ticker running the entire time. If you could help support us here and help us grow. Brian, we have to get you guys back on, especially your brother as well, and talk about the finals once they happen. So maybe we'll set that up in the next week.
Yeah, sure.
Right. So let's keep this soccer thing rolling. Let's get some goals here.
Well. And I'm gonna celebrate just like my man Jude Bellingham, man.
There it is. Look at him. There it is. I love it. All right. There he is. He's back. All right. Again, thank you, Rhode Island Broadcasting. Great. Check them out. Follow them as well. Amazing shows. If you don't like sports, there's a lot of other great shows on Rhode Island Broadcasting as well. Check out Sports Unfolded every Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are on live and fan interactive, so take advantage of that as well. We cover all of the top sports stories going on in the world today. Brian, thank you again so much for all your soccer insight, man. You are amazing. I appreciate all you do for Sports Unfolded and Just for Kicks. Back.
Thank you, Eric.
We will see you soon. Take care. And all we ever ask for every single show is peace on earth.